aircraft will come in for overhaul. It'll be basically what we call stripped, all the paint's taken off, or most of the paint's taken off. It's blasted to take any corrosion. Then it goes into the hull shop for repair. From there, cracks or dents are taken out. It goes into a basic pre-paint stage. Comes here for assembly, and that's what we see right here. Most of these aircraft are in various stages of assembly. And when they're assembled, they go through an extensive quality assurance check. And at the end of the line, once all the QA steps are taken, the quality assurance steps are taken, we start flying them. Nine are in work through various stages. And they come here every 4 years. We hover in salt water, and salt water, adds to corrosion. So we bring it in here for depot maintenance, and the primary reason for depot maintenance is corrosion control. And it's very effective. All these aircraft are over 20 years old. We were planning to have 9 in a regular overhaul, and to expedite, we would have 5 or 6 come in for a modification. At the beginning of our learning curve, it was a little more than that, but at the end of the project, toward the middle of the project actually, it really came up to where we expected it to be, and we actually ended up 1 month early for completion. They are delivered. The last aircraft went to Jacksonville, Florida. That was about a month ago. I personally was on that delivery. We didn't even realize it until we got there. We're thinking, this is number 95. Oh. At one time, we had 22 helicopters here. It was very, very crowded. But we got through it, and on time, so it was a good thing. Conceptually, they're the same. It's a turboshaft engine. This engine has more power, and it's controlled differently. Basically, it has a computer control compared to older technology that was on the older aircraft. The engines themselves provide a better single engine capability if you lose one. The main gearbox is essentially the exact same, with the modification that allows more single engine power to go into the gearbox. We had 2 Charlie models in Katrina. Katrina was during a very hot time. A Bravo model engine was limited in temperature due to engine performance. The Charlie model didn't have that issue. So you could essentially, as long as you maintained your main gearbox limits, the engine would back that up. Whereas before, you were limited to the engine performance. So in essence, you could do more, but you still had the same gearbox limitation. So they lifted more people, which was a wonderful thing. It's happening right now. In fact, all of our aircraft that are in production right now have a new modification that's basically an upgrade to the radios. And it has lighting for law enforcement purposes, a loud hailer to talk to a boat, and it has machine gun mounts, things of that nature. Probably the largest modification, aside from the communications equipment, which is substantial, we have increased direction finding capability. Basically, if a person has a problem and they have a 406 EPIRB, it sends a signal up to the satellite. The satellite can tell who it is, where they are, all these good things. Well, in the past, that frequency that it talks to the satellite, we could never hear it. Therefore, we could not direction find on it. Well, now we have that capability. Here's one that's mostly ready to go. This is our second AUF aircraft. It's going to Hitron down in Jacksonville. It'll be one of the aircraft that replace HH65. The AUF modification will have what's called a FLIR, forward-looking infrared sensor. And it's going to mount right in the nose. Right under here, you can see the hole where it's going to go. And we've had side-mounted FLIRs, but not for the whole fleet, and not something that you could look at the display in the cockpit. So it's very nice. It's very effective. You can see things that you can see things on the beach, for example. You can read the name of a ship, and then more importantly, you can look for bad people doing bad things. So kind of gives you a nice set of binoculars to look ahead and figure out what might be a problem before you get there. Some of the more visible things that we've changed on this helicopter. This assembly is basically it's a new HF antenna that we have for our radios. Our old HF, it worked, but it wasn't that effective. This HF high frequency radio, it's a long range radio, has a device called an automatic linking equipment, ALE it's called, and it automatically pings back and forth to the transmitting station to find the best frequency. So it works, and it works great, something that we've never had before, greatly enhancing safety and operational effectiveness. Another modification is that crazy looking antenna. We call it the egg beater, but that's a satellite communications radio, a military satellite communications radio antenna. And it's all wired up through the front, so you can use the computer to dial in whatever frequency you need. And of course, this will have that new DF I was telling you about, the FLIR, and some other radios which are very nice. They're a multi-band radio, so you can talk to FEMA, the sheriff, the ambulance, things that we could do before, but it was very cumbersome. Now it's much easier. The last 3 years have been unbelievable as far as a whirlwind of activity. Having a fleet of Alphas and Bravos, now having a complete fleet of Charlies is something that I'm very proud of the work that the folks do here.